Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to make some pink and green one-eyed blobs. So to get started, I went ahead and got the clay out that I'm using. So like I said in the intro, I'm using pink and green. So the pink is actually called blush, and then it's just green. They're both Primo Sculpey. And for the eyes, I will use pearl. And for the dot on the eyes, I'm actually using a color it's called Twinkle Twinkle. It's like a black with glitter in it. So I just soften up both colors. And once they are nice and soft, I will go ahead and start mixing them together. Now, when I start blending these together, I don't want to, overdo it. I just want to get it so I have a nice long snake. And then out of the snake, I want to make 8 blobs. So I just keep cutting it in half until I get my 8 sections. And then I'll do more mixing when I go to shape the individual blobs. So these individual blobs, you can kind of just shape them however you want. And then I just add an indentation for the eyes and then carve in the mouth. And I'll do that for each one, but each blob will have its own look that you'll see at the end there. One of the things I wanted to share with you guys is the reason why I make one-eyed blobs, or how I got started with that. So some of you may know this if you've been following me on Facebook or if you know me in person, but for those of you who don't, I was at a craft show in Aurora, Nebraska several years ago, and I did a lot more craft shows then. Now I do a lot more conventions. But at craft shows, you run into a lot of parents that'll bring their kids with. And most of the time the kid's pretty bored, and so the parent will want to buy him something, to just make him happy. And a lot of parents were reluctant, rightfully so, to buy their child a larger sculpture that they knew their child would break, especially younger children. So I was trying to think, instead of, pushing these $10 to $20 sculptures, and I never want anybody to be unhappy with their purchase. So, I myself was reluctant to sell it to, somebody who might break it, especially after, spending the time making it. Even though I'm selling it, I still don't want to ever see my stuff, broken. So I thought, what could I do that I could, make for $1? I thought that would be a perfect price point. Nobody really, worries about something that's $1 if I could come up with something fun. So I thought, I had this idea to do like a one-eyed blob, kind of inspired by Bob from Monsters vs. Aliens, if you've seen that. And so I was doing some sketches at the craft show, and I thought, hey, I'll start and I'll use some of the scraps of clay I have left over from larger sculptures. So that's kind of what I started with on it. And I thought, well, I want to do them around the same size. So I use the same volume of clay. But then, the main thing is that it has one eye, and then I do it, some kind of facial expression with the mouth, whether it's happy or sad or surprised. And then just do different things with its body. So I started making these one-eyed blobs, and they were a hit at craft shows, and I was really happy with the reaction I was getting from them. Well, then, I don't know when, but my kids and I like blind bags, which are like a mystery bag where you buy something and you don't know what's going to be inside. So I started doing 5-pack blind bags of my one-eyed blobs. It was my daughter's idea to do that, and I've been doing that ever since. And so I wanted to do like a header card for it. So I came up with the idea to call it Invasion of the One-Eyed Blobs because, it kind of reminds me of those 60s sci-fi movies. And so I started doing 5-pack blind bags of those at conventions, and I also have those in my Etsy shop. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and plug that. So there's a link down below for my Etsy shop. So if you do want to buy some of my blind bags, I do have 4 random blobs like these, and then the 5th one is a glow-in-the-dark blob. But so I started doing the blind bags, and I also have single blobs. And I, like I said, the 5-pack blind bags are on my Etsy shop, but at conventions and other appearances, I'll always sell both. So if you just want to get one blob, you know, it's available. And if you don't want to get them and you just want to enjoy my video of making them, that's great too. So there's a little bit of the history of making my one-eyed blobs and where the idea came from. And now on the blobs here in the video, I'm going to go ahead and do their eyes. So I've done the eyes out of white. I've done them out of like the white glitter, and these I'm doing out of pearl. And the reason why I use pearl over white now is it just seems to have a little bit of a different almost texture to it. And I've mentioned this before, but the pearl doesn't seem to pick up as much particles as the white does. The white seems a lot stickier. So even if I wash my hands and I have a little bit of color still on them from making the blobs, that seems to transfer onto that white really easy. And anybody who's worked with polymer clay know that white is very troublesome that way. And for some reason, even with pearl being a lighter color, just whatever they put in it, I think, to make it shiny, almost gives it a resistance to picking up more stuff. I mean, you can still get stuff in there, but it's definitely not as likely as the white. And there's a few other colors that are kind of like that too, but right now we're just worried about the white. So I use pearl, plus I like the little bit of a shine. And then, like I said, for these, I'm going to go ahead and use the Twinkle Twinkle, which is a black with glitter in it for the pupil area. And for some of them, I tried to make it a little bit bigger than I normally do, just to kind of make that show that it has some glitter in it. And hopefully that makes it come across that they have a little bit of more of a sparkle in their eye. So these guys are just about done, and we'll go ahead and finish them up and get them in the oven. Now it's time to bake our clay. Remember, always bake your clay according to package instructions. And here are the finished pink and green one-eyed blobs. Take a little bit closer look at each one. So here's the flat one. Usually do these ones that look like they're melting. I always do them sad. Like they just, can't keep their body together. Poor little guy. And then I'm going to show you these two together, because if you noticed, I did a lot more mixing on this one, so you can kind of see how it blends the clay more. You get more of a marble effect, and you start losing, the two colors a little bit. I didn't mix it obviously completely because I want them to have a swirl marble look to them. Then here's the one I added the texture with the ball tool, but you can add texture with all kinds of things. Foil, like a foil ball, works really well. Different material work really well. The only thing is, if you want to reuse it for texturing something else, make sure to clean it so you don't transfer that color to a different color. This one's a little bit of a slug-like. So he's just a happy little slug blob. Then this one has a couple, like almost little antennae. This one looks like he's waving to you. He's just like, bye, see you later. And this one, I haven't really done one like this before that I can think of. I've done this face, but I kind of just wanted to make him look a little out of whack or out of sorts. He's got kind of a flat top, and then he's kind of got a crooked neck area, I guess, neck body. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this little video on making these pink and green one-eye blobs. If you have ideas for future videos, please leave them in the comments down below, or if you have any comments about these little blobs, leave those down below. Also, remember to like and subscribe. All right, thanks for watching. Remember, never stop creating. Bye. Let's do this guy. Bye.